This didn't begin with an explosion or an experiment. It began with a spin, a quiet rotation in the void of space. Not a toy, not a turbine, but a whisper of motion that held power. NASA engineers once believed this idea could change everything. Not just how we move satellites, but how we store energy. No chemicals, no heat, just motion. In the cold silence of orbit, it might have been the perfect solution. And yet, it never made it up there. Why? What happened to this mysterious machine? And could its second life be waiting back here on Earth? The problem with batteries in space. Batteries on Earth are reliable until they're not. In space, even that reliability breaks down faster. The cold vacuum doesn't treat lithium-ion kindly. Performance drops sharply outside ideal temperature ranges. Internal resistance rises. The charge drops. The International Space Station uses advanced batteries, but even those are only expected to last around 11 years. They degrade, slowly, chemically, irreversibly. On top of that, you can't just look at a lithium battery and know how much charge is left. That requires algorithms, estimations, and pauses in operations. In space, precision matters. Failure is not an option. And the temperatures up there aren't mild. They swing from blistering sun to absolute darkness in minutes. This brutal environment accelerates every flaw. NASA engineers knew that pushing further into deep space would demand more than just upgraded versions of Earth batteries. They needed something that didn't rely on fragile chemical reactions, something that wouldn't corrode, leak, or burn under pressure. These limitations combined became a major obstacle for long-duration space missions. So NASA started looking elsewhere, somewhere quieter, simpler, and maybe stronger. What if the solution didn't lie in chemistry at all? What if it spun? NASA's vision, the dual-purpose flywheel. At Glenn Research Center, NASA scientists imagined something radical. A machine that didn't just store energy, but also controlled the direction of the spacecraft it lived in. Flywheels had long been used to maintain orientation in satellites. Their spinning mass created gyroscopic forces. But could that same spinning also power systems on board? Could motion itself become storage? The idea was elegant. Instead of sending electricity to a chemical cell, you'd send it to a motor, spinning a heavy wheel inside a vacuum. That wheel would hold the energy in its motion. When needed, the motor would reverse, becoming a generator. Energy out, no chemical waste, no degradation, and most importantly, no guessing games. You'd always know how much energy was left. Just measure the wheel's speed. It wasn't just a new battery, it was a different category altogether. A hybrid machine that blended energy storage and spacecraft orientation into a single unit. And the more you studied it, the more it made sense. This wasn't just efficiency, it was clarity, simplicity in design, a mechanical heart that beats with electricity and stability at once. A true two-for-one machine, a flywheel battery. Something space had never seen before, and maybe something it desperately needed. Inside the flywheel, how the system works. Imagine a spinning top sealed inside a silent chamber. No air, no resistance, just motion. That's the core of the G3 flywheel battery. A carbon composite rotor engineered to withstand staggering speed, up to 100,000 RPM. Held in a vacuum, levitated by magnetic bearings, untouched by friction. Electricity flows in. The motor spins the rotor. Kinetic energy builds. Nothing leaks, nothing burns. When power is needed, the motor becomes a generator and the rotor slows. The energy returns as electricity. The whole system is extraordinarily efficient, up to 90% round trip. And it's clean. No lithium, no toxic waste, no thermal runaway. NASA's team added backup mechanical bearings to survive launch shock and G-forces. But once in orbit, those retract. The engineering is deceptively simple but deeply refined. Every component, from the copper coils around the stutter to the placement of permanent magnets, was selected for maximum performance with minimal mass. The rotor itself was tested to endure forces that would tear conventional metals apart. And the vacuum chamber? Essential for long-term energy retention. The result is a system that could store energy for months without meaningful loss. A machine that doesn't just survive in space, but thrives in it. A mechanical answer to a chemical problem. And unlike conventional batteries, its limits weren't inside. They were out there, waiting for a test that never came. Orientation control, the other half of the vision. Power was only half the dream. The real magic was in how that spinning wheel could steer a spacecraft. The concept wasn't new. Reaction wheels and momentum wheels had been used before, but never like this. Reaction wheels help spacecraft rotate without using any fuel. Spin a wheel clockwise, and the craft turns counterclockwise. Newton's third law, simple physics, beautifully applied. Momentum wheels, meanwhile, stay spinning to resist small external forces, keeping the spacecraft steady. NASA's flywheel system could do both, and at the same time, it could store power. One machine, two essential jobs. No fuel, no waste, no recalibration, just balance. By placing multiple flywheels at strategic angles, engineers could control movement in all directions. Fine-tuned, smooth, silent. Even the layout mirrored precision. A kind of symmetrical choreography that lets the spacecraft dance in space. But this dance never got to be performed. Not up there, at least. Why the project never made it to space? With all its promise, you'd think NASA's flywheel battery would have revolutionized spaceflight. But it didn't. Why? Timing. As the flywheel tech was maturing, lithium-ion batteries were evolving too. Fast. Their energy density climbed. Costs dropped. And more importantly, their use was familiar, tested, trusted. Flywheels required new systems, more testing, and more money. Launch costs were high. The risk was higher. And while the flywheel's efficiency was impressive, its energy density was lower than lithium-ion, 33 watt-hours per kilogram versus lithium's 170. That number didn't account for the flywheel's dual function, but it still scared decision-makers. There was also complexity, vacuum chambers, magnetic bearings, backup systems. It all worked, but it wasn't simple. And in space, simple often wins. So the G3 never launched. Its legacy would find a home not in orbit, but in places we never expected. Earthbound success, grid storage, and solar integration. Grounded but not forgotten, the flywheel design began a second life here on Earth. In Ontario, Canada, engineers launched the MTO flywheel facility. 10 steel flywheels spin inside magnetic bearings, helping regulate the local power grid. They smooth out fluctuations, absorb surplus energy, and release it in moments of high demand. The system stores energy from a modest solar array, 50 kilowatts, yet provides up to 2 megawatts of instant balancing power. It's fast, efficient, durable, and born from space-age dreams. Other startups and labs have followed. Material science advances are now pushing rotor strength and design even further. The same ideas once meant to keep satellites steady are now helping cities stay lit. It's a quiet success, no headlines, no launches. But every time the grid stays stable during a solar dip or a sudden power surge, NASA's flywheel whispers through the wires. Lessons in systems engineering. The flywheel battery wasn't just a technological innovation, it was a systems-level breakthrough. It showed what could happen when two problems are solved with one elegant answer. Instead of building one device for power and another for control, NASA built both into one. This thinking, efficiency at the system level, not just the component level, is reshaping engineering. It echoes into architecture, software, and even medicine. Combine tasks, reduce waste, improve performance by design. The flywheel's failure to launch wasn't a failure at all. It was a shift, a teaching tool, a prototype for the philosophy of doing more with less. Every engineer who worked on it carried that lesson into their next mission. Every student who reads about it inherits that mindset. And in a world where energy systems, climate challenges, and space exploration all collide, those lessons may be more important now than ever. The future of mechanical batteries. We don't know if flywheels will return to space, but their story isn't over. As we search for ways to store renewable energy without mining more lithium, burning more gas, or building more chemical waste, the mechanical battery may find its moment. New materials, graphene composites, ceramics, even magnetically structured alloys are pushing flywheels into new territories. Their low maintenance, long life, and resilience to extreme conditions make them ideal candidates for harsh environments. Not just space. Think deserts, islands, remote research stations, even undersea. Anywhere energy is needed, but chemistry struggles. Flywheels are also being reconsidered for transport, trains, ports, and even aircraft auxiliary systems. The more we understand how to control and preserve rotational energy, the more doors open. The G3 might not have flown, but its descendants might. And when they do, they'll carry with them a legacy of motion. A machine that doesn't just store power, it remembers it in spin. It's easy to forget the technologies that don't fly, the ones that pause at the edge of space. But those ideas matter. They spark something, a change in how we think, how we build, and how we solve. NASA's flywheel didn't become the standard, but it became a seed. And now, in labs, power grids, and startup garages, that seed is sprouting again. So next time you hear the quiet hum of a stabilized grid or see a solar system surviving the night, remember, the power might not be chemical. It might be a whisper, a spin. A silent revolution is waiting for its turn.